And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
For Sunday morning, big area of IFR up here north slope out to the Arctic coast. VFR here through much of the central interior, right into northeast Bristol Bay. Eastward there to Prince William Sound, marginal for Kodiak Island. Some areas of marginal VFR here, Alaska Peninsula and the southwest part of the state. And look at the VFR here from the eastern Aleutians westward, almost to the Shimiatu area. Marginal VFR in the Bering Sea, but VFR there, St. Lawrence Island. And IFR with some marginal VFR for the southeast coast. For the afternoon, forecasting solid IFR there for the Panhandle up to Yakutat, westward there to Cordova, say, and then marginal VFR for the Kenai Peninsula, Prince William Sound, Copper River Basin area, and some more farther to the north. And then up along the Arctic coast, that IFR area really diminishes from morning to afternoon there with a narrow band along the central and eastern coast. And VFR here, southwest Seward Peninsula, surrounded by a pretty good area of marginal VFR, but then back to VFR here over the southeastern Bering Sea up into Bristol Bay and back out to the west there. And then for Monday morning, the forecast, some IFR here into the southwest interior, right up to close to St. Lawrence Island. Another patch of IFR there for the Chukchi Sea, actually toward the Bering Strait, Shishmaref, and not too bad areas of marginal VFR for the Aleutians and the Bering Sea, with a band of IFR here along the North Gulf Coast, right on down the southeast coast. Then for the afternoon, some IFR here for Kodiak Island, eastern Kenai Peninsula area, Prince William Sound, North Gulf Coast into the northern Panhandle, and yet another zone of IFR. Not too big though here, not bad really for the Bering Sea, marginal VFR there. And then you get the IFR right over St. Lawrence Island. VFR from the western Alaska Peninsula, say from about Cold Bay westward all the way to the Commodore-ski Islands. Passes for tomorrow, marginal VFR for Anatuvik and Adigan. In fact, a lot of the passes will be rather marginal, as we'll see here for the Alaska Range, Lake Clark and Merrill. Rainy, same forecast, marginal VFR for Windy and Isabel, marginal VFR. Mentasta, marginal VFR at times. And marginal VFR possible for Tanita at times throughout the day Sunday. Same forecast for Portage, Chilkoot and White, IFR. And for the freezing levels here, 2,000 feet, up close to the North Gulf Coast there, and then back down across the Panhandle. And we've got the surface out here between the Pribilofs and St. Matthew Island. And for icing, areas of possible isolated moderate rime icing here for the Pribilof Islands down to the Alaska Peninsula, and then kind of angling back and around towards Shimiatu. And then better chance of some heavier icing. Could be a couple areas of considerable moderate here along the southeast coast up to about Yakutat. And from there, looking at the jet stream, not much to look at here at 33,000 feet. Pretty light winds across the Bering Sea, mainland Alaska into the Gulf. You can just catch the edge of the main Pacific jet here. That's blowing into the Pacific Northwest. And coming down to 9,000 feet, not much difference, although we're starting to pick up that easterly wind there at this elevation at about 40 knots to the western Arctic coast. Pretty light for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians. And then we got some 40-knot winds here across the areas of the southeast coast. 3,000 feet, really not much more. The strongest winds well down to the south and southeast. Now up along the Arctic coast here, easterlies 45 knots there toward Barter Island, Kaktovik, picking up to 60 knots there in toward Point Ley and the west side. And for turbulence, with that stronger wind, that's could be some considerable moderate turbulence there from possibly Wainwright, definitely Point Ley down to Point Hope and Cape Lisburne. Light to isolated moderate chop for the central and eastern Arctic coast, maybe around Yakutat there and the southern Panhandle. Otherwise, pretty smooth elsewhere across the state.